after completing BTech, I am unable to decide whether I should go for a job or higher studies or education. How should I decide that?
What's your name?
Sonu Singh.
Sonu Singh. Sonu is asking, we have all final year students here? All third year? After completing BTech, I do not know whether I should go for a job or for higher studies or something else. Sonu, typically, usually in life, when you are stuck between 2 or 3 choices, you will find most of the times that none of the choices are really good for you. So my question will be that I am unable to choose between A, B and C. And life says that whenever you are unable to choose between A, B and C, not A, not B, not C. Had any of these 3 been really what your life is looking for, then you would not have been confused. Confusion itself is an indication that all of these, all 3 or all 5 or all 8 are suboptimal choices. You understand what is meant by suboptimal? A suboptimal choice is that which is not really reaching the maxima. It's a compromise. First of all, let's understand what is work, because all 3 questions that you have asked relate to work, right? What is work? You see, what's your age today? 20, 22, right? You'd be working for a minimum of 30 to 40 years. Your total work-life duration will be at least 30 to 40 years. Do you see that? Yes? That means that practically till the end of your life, except for maybe the last 10 years or so, you would be working. How many hours a day do you sleep? 6 hours to 8 hours? Right? 1 or 2 hours for your other regular physical activities? Eating, washing and such stuff. You are left with around 14 hours, out of which how much time do you think one spends working? How much time do you think you spend working end to end? And end to end means starting off from your home, going to the workplace and coming back to your home. How much time do you think you spend working? Well, yes, if you are in the NCR, it would be a minimum of 12 hours. It could even be 16 hours. Because 1 hour of commuting time either way is the standard. So 2 hours you are anyway expending in just commuting. And a typical office day stretches to a minimum of 10 hours. So 12 hours is the minimum. It could be 14, it could be 16. So taking away the sleeping time, you are left with around 15 hours or so in the day, of which 12 or 14 hours you are spending in work, right? How much of your total life, total waking life, remove the sleeping part, how much of your total waking life are you spending working? What percentage? What percentage of your total working life are you spending working? 13 out of 15 is 60%. 13 divided by 15 is 60%. Who calculated that? 13 or 14 hours out of 15 hours is 60% or 80%? It's far more than that, right? But yes, you remove the holidays and the other leaves that you take, and yet you will be left with something like 70-75%, right? You will be spending 3/4 of your waking life working. Understand the significance of work. You will be spending 3/4 of your waking life working, which is practically your entire life. Which is practically your entire life. So what is work? Work is life itself. Work is life itself. Now somebody who does not make a wise decision with respect to work, is he losing out merely on work, or is he losing out on life itself? He has not only spoiled his career, he has actually spoiled his not only spoiled his career, he has actually spoiled his life. And remember, I am not yet talking of ambition and money. I am just talking of the time that you give to work. I have yet not talked of money. I have yet not talked of how high do you rise in the corporate hierarchy and such things. No, that's not my concern. My concern is that an adult being works. He acts, and this action is life. And if he does not know the direction of his work, if he does not know where to place his work, then he is condemning himself to hell. He is saying, let my life be hell. Because all the day you are working. And if work is something that you do not like, if that work is something your heart does not agree to, then you will suffer, and suffer badly. And that's what is happening with millions and millions of people around us. Under the influence of various forces, people choose careers, work streams that are intrinsically unsuitable to them. And then, because of inertia, because of fear, they find they can't even get out of the rut they have put themselves in. The result, they make a wrong choice, and then they have to stay with the wrong choice. First of all, you make a wrong choice, and then you have to stay with the wrong choice because you dare not do anything else. Have you heard the story of the crying woman inside the train? So there was this woman who was sitting in a long distance train. And her co-passenger was sitting in front of her, who did not know her. I mean, two strangers sitting in front of each other. So the train left the station, and after a while the co-passenger sees that the woman is tense. He notices that, and he says, all right, people are tense, nothing big about it. A few hours pass, and he sees that she is actually worried. Her forehead is freckled, and she is showing physical signs of distress. She is fidgeting, she is looking here and there. He becomes a little concerned, but he thinks that maybe she is leaving a few people back. There is something in her personal life which is keeping her nervous. The day passes, the night comes, and when the night comes, he finds that she is actually shedding a tear or two. Her eyes are moist. So he gathers courage and asks her, "What's wrong?" She doesn't reply. He doesn't press for an answer because one can't press strangers for an answer. He goes off to sleep. It's a long distance train. When he wakes up in the morning, he finds that she is actually sobbing. And streams of tears are flowing down her eyes. He again asks her that, "Ma'am, is there something wrong? Is there some way I can help?" She says nothing. So he keeps to himself. By the time the evening comes, it's a long distance train, as we said. By the time the evening comes, the woman has gone mad with grief. She's hitting against the wall. She's actually crying out. So now this is too much for the man. He catches hold of her and says, "Will you please tell me what's wrong? You are getting all hysterical. For what reason?" She says, "Since yesterday, I am sitting in the wrong train. And every passing station reminds me that I am sitting in the wrong train. So that's why as the train is moving along, I am getting more and more desperate." Now that is the story of most of working professionals. First of all, you get into the wrong train. Then at every station you have the opportunity to get down, right? Life gives you so many opportunities. It's a long distance train, it stops at many places. You could have deboarded any time. But then you don't have the guts to get down either. First of all, you get into the wrong train, and because now you are into the wrong train, you keep going along. And as you go along, your suffering only keeps increasing and increasing and increasing. First of all, out of ignorance or out of peer pressure or other kinds of influences, you choose a wrong direction for life. And then you find yourself out of courage to change the direction. Don't let that happen. You asked me about 3 choices, A, B and C. Now, isn't it obvious that if anybody's career choices are taken, they would include this A, B and C? How is it possible that if there are 200 unique individuals sitting over here, all their choices are limited to these 3? If you are really unique and if you are actually individuals, then your career choices will show that. But no, it's more or less a herd mentality in which everybody wants to go in the same direction. MS, MTech, software, maybe MBA, and nothing else. How can the same kind of choice be the right choice for everybody if you are really unique? It is obvious that our choices are not our choices. It is very obvious that our choices are not our choices. They are coming from our environment. But who has to live your life? You or the environment? Who will live your life? Would you live your life, or would those people live your life who are giving you these choices? Yes, you would live this life, right? If you are going to live your life, then you must find out what is it that really calls you. Do you understand the difference between work and calling? Do you understand the difference between work and calling? Working is one thing. and realizing your calling is another thing. Calling is a word that is used to describe the work that really beckons you. Calling is a word that is used to describe work that really beckons you. It is that which, if not done, will never leave you satisfied. Most of us never respond to our calling. Most of us do not even know what this calling is. It keeps beckoning you, it keeps giving you signals. But if you are insensitive, you will not catch those signals. If you are afraid, then you won't have the space to listen to that little voice. Ask yourself, what is it that I can do even without being paid? Can you ask this question to yourself? What is it that I can do even without being paid? And if you find something that you can do even if nobody pays you any money for it, then that is your calling. Find out something that you want to do even if you have to pay money for it. Instead of getting a salary or compensation, even if you have to pay money to do that, you'll still do that. That is your calling. Are you getting it? There is a character of Howard Rourke, the architect, in Ayn Rand's Fountainhead. And architecture is his calling. He has not just taken admission into an architecture college because his papa told him to. Architecture is his life force. He designs a particular building and he says, I design it because I'm in love with it. The client says, no, you change the design. Your design, if constructed, will cost me these many dollars extra. Rourke says, you deduct these many dollars from my fee, but I will not change the design. When that starts happening, then you know that this is my calling. If you want, you can hold my entire fee, don't pay me anything, but I'll not change the design. I love this design. I love this design. Is there anything of this nature in your life? And if there is, then beautiful. And if there is not, then you better find out. Have you heard of Richard Branson? Yeah? The founder of the Virgin brand. Virgin Atlantic, Virgin Records and all such things. Yeah? Yes? He was asked about this, that what should one do in life? He said, if you want to fly kites, but then give your everything to flying kites. The question was about entrepreneurship. He said, all right, if your heart is in flying kites, then do keep flying kites. You will be able to make money out of it. One does not need too much for a livelihood, and that much will be available. But then don't remain confused. Once you find out that you love to fly kites, just fly kites. Become a master in flying kites. And whenever you have mastery in something, life is with you. Unknown forces come to help you. And you benefit both ways. One, you are doing what you love to do. Second, you are receiving help from unpredictable quarters. Won't it be wonderful that you are being paid for doing something that you anyway enjoy doing? Is that not what you call as heaven? What am I doing? I'm just doing what I enjoy doing. And I'm also getting some money for it. Isn't that beautiful? I'm opening that possibility to you. Would that not be beautiful? But that will not open up to you if you keep thinking that life is all about moving in a few particular well-laid, predetermined directions. If you say that there are only 3 or 4 or 10 ways of earning livelihood that the society has approved of, and I'll follow only those ways, then there is no hope for you. If you are really unique, then you must have your unique inclinations. They would surely be there. Have you tried to nurture them? And those unique inclinations could be anything. Somebody might just like to water plants. Somebody might just enjoy reading comic strips. And it could be just anything. You are privileged that you are living in an age where economies are more open than they were at any other point, where you have the tremendous power of the internet. When the world is more prosperous than it ever was, and your country is growing at a healthy rate of growth, why must you compromise? And remember, we said right in the beginning, if you compromise with work, you are compromising with life. Many of us think that let me do anything. Ultimately, what matters is that I'll get a paycheck at the end of the month. Let me just do anything. I'll ultimately get a paycheck at the end of the month, and that's what matters. But tell me, you may get paid on one particular day in the month, but how many days are there in the month? How many days are there in the month? 30. On how many days will you receive the check? 1. How many days are left? What will you do on those 29 days? Will you just keep waiting for the check? Or would you sleep on those 29 days only to wake up on the 30th day? You have to live through the entire month, right? How will you live? How will you live? How will you get out of your house every day to go to work? How will you do that? How will you spend every hour, every minute, every second? How can you be so casual about the matter of work and livelihood and calling? How can you allow others to dictate terms for you in this regard? Don't forget that woman who boarded the wrong train. And it's not difficult. It's not difficult. You just need to have a little faith. Anyway, the route that you are choosing will not give you what you desire from it. if you think going on these conventional ways will give you security and a lot of money, it anyway won't give you. If everybody decides to go on one single road, what happens to that road? Jammed. And on a jammed road, does anybody move? You understand what I'm trying to say? If all of you decide to pursue one particular profession, what will happen to jobs in that profession? Jammed. Will anybody get those jobs? India is producing 15 lakhs engineers per year. And if they all decide to go in one or two particular directions, obviously most of them are not reaching anywhere. An advantage with pursuing an untreaded, uncharted path is that the road is clear. If you take a road which may be bumpy, which may not have 4 lanes, which may just have a single lane, which nobody uses, which may be a little scary because it passes through a jungle, you will be at an advantage. Why will you be at an advantage? Because nobody will be there on that road. You can do whatever you want. If you want, you can sit in the middle of the road and have a little picnic. But you can't do that on a highway because everybody wants to go on the highway. And when everybody wants to go on a highway of this nature, then you only get traffic jams. And we all are stuck in traffic jams, yet we are not searching for our alternate, our individual routes. And remember, life is not a highway. Life is not a place where you can follow one common road. You all must find out your individual roads. You all must create your individual paths. There are no predetermined paths. But that's what the mind wants, right? To move on paths that have already been used. To make use of others' experience. To do what everybody else is doing. But if you do that, then don't forget you have only one life. Anybody here who has come with an inventory of lives, that sir, I have 46 lives, one life doesn't matter, let me waste one life. Let me gain experience in 3 or 4 lives, then after that I'll do something enjoyable. You have just one life. As far as you are concerned, there is only this. One single precious life. Ask yourself, what am I doing with it? And the entire world is open to you. I repeat, you are lucky to be born in a time of opportunities. Don't waste what time has given you. Don't waste what coincidence has given you. If you love cooking, then you must be in cooking. If you love to run, then run. Let nobody tell you that how can an engineer go and become a chef. Let nobody tell you that. Today you have people from IITs and IIMs who are running real estate firms, who are running laundry services. If you have gained some education, it should liberate you. It should not enslave you. We find that our education starts enslaving us. We start saying that after getting this heavy degree, now how can we do some small task? I'm asking you, why can't you run a very well organized, a very distinct juice shop? And I assure you, you will earn more there than you will earn in your normal run-of-the-mill jobs. And that one juice shop can then proliferate into an entire chain, a nationwide chain. I mean, what else are these brands? Starbucks, Cafe Coffee Day. They are chai wala and coffee wala, right? The chai wala and the coffee wala, who is now a multinational company. Why can't you start with your own juice shop? What prevents you? Rotten beliefs, a false sense of respectability. That's what holds us back. Will I run a juice shop after studying so much? Your study will become your handicap. Will I run a small dhaba? Have I studied my mechanical engineering just to make these small spare parts? Yes, I love soccer, but now I'm an electronics engineer. How can I go and become a soccer coach in a school? But I'm a computer engineer. How can I go now and start teaching kids who are 3 and 4 years old? How can I open a small school in my village? I'm a computer engineer. Even though you know that you love to teach, even though you love to be with kids, even though you realize that your village is in need of a school, still you won't do that. And many of us come from villages and small towns, don't we? Many of us know what is it that is needed in our place. And there is a tremendous opportunity there. But we won't do that. And why won't we do that? I'm asking you. Why not? Why must you aspire to be in Bangalore or Gurgaon or in California? So no, it's not a question of option A, B and C. There is D, there is E, there is F, right up till Z, and it doesn't stop there. As all of you are individual, you must find out your individual calling. That is the only way of living. Everything else is hell. All right? Yeah.